You know, guys, I really don't know how many times Donald Trump has just full-on embarrassed the United States of America, but it seems to be an ongoing pattern that we're going to have to deal with for the next, three and a half years? And I've always had a really interesting thought experiment that I've put myself through. If an adversary of the United States were able to become president, what are the subsequent actions that person would take to destroy our country? And it seems like Donald Trump has really crossed a lot of those things off of the list. Now, of course, this is just my conspiratorial thinking. I have no proof that Donald Trump is some foreign agent or something, but you take a look at all the crazy shit that he is doing, and one could really make the argument that he is trying to ruin or hurt my country. And then he shows up at these summits all around the world, and he just further embarrasses the United States of America. He is trying to align us more with the likes of Russia and Putin rather than fostering and strengthening our relationships with our democratic allies. And that's exactly what we saw once again at this G7 summit. Here he is saying that, well, Russia should have never been thrown out of the G7 or the G8. If you guys do appreciate my work, please do remember to subscribe.
The G7 used to be the G8. Barack Obama and a person named Trudeau didn't want to have Russia in. And I would say that that was a mistake, because I think you wouldn't have a war right now if you had Russia in. And you wouldn't have a war right now if Trump were president 4 years ago. But it didn't work out that way. But it used to be the G8. And now it's, I guess, what's that, 8 years ago, it switched over. They threw Russia out, which I claimed was a very big mistake. Even though I wasn't in politics then, I was very loud about it. It was a mistake in that you spend so much time talking about Russia, and he's no longer at the table. So it makes life more complicated. But you wouldn't have had the war.
I mean, how big of an idiot can this guy be? This has been his claim over and over and over and over again. Well, if I were president, guys, you wouldn't have any wars. Russia wouldn't have invaded Ukraine, because Putin wouldn't have done that under me. But what are we seeing right now in the Middle East? We saw Israel attack Iran. We saw Iran retaliate against Israel. I thought Donald Trump was the no wars president. I thought he was going to be able to prevent all of this conflict all around the world because he's just that good. Isn't that what he's been telling us for years upon years now? I mean, how is it that the MAGA folks still believe that this is the no conflict president? How is it that they believe that he has just got these magical powers that can prevent armed conflict? It is all so insane. He's then asked, well, why hasn't a trade deal been finalized with Canada?
What is holding up a deal with Canada from your perspective?
It's not so much holding up. I think we have different concepts. I have a tariff concept, and Mark has a different concept, which is something that some people like. But we're going to see if we can get to the bottom of it today. I'm a tariff person. I've always been a tariff. It's simple, it's easy, it's precise, and it just goes very quickly. And I think Mark has a more complex idea, but also very good.
It's real precise. It goes real quickly, guys. The tariffs, it's just so easy. It's just so easy for us to throw tariffs on one of our biggest trading partners, one of our best friends. I mean, Donald Trump is such a goddamn idiot. Why would you want to put further trade barriers in place with our biggest trading partner, with one of our closest friends? I mean, Canada has traveled with us all around the world, has bled with us, has died with us. They're like our little brother. And Donald Trump wants to start treating them like this. I mean, obviously this is nothing new. This is what he's been doing ever since he got back into the president's office. But this is just no way to treat the allies, right? But this is what Donald Trump does. He's standing up for Putin, saying, oh, he never should have been kicked out. But we don't have a trade deal yet because, well, I really don't know why, guys. We're going to figure it out today. It's always today, right? 2 weeks. These people are no closer to a deal than they were 60, 70, 80 days ago. That Liberation Day tariff deadline is coming up very, very soon. I think it's July 9th, and they're no closer to a deal. Donald Trump continues to lie to the American people that we're super close, guys. We're really close. It's almost done. We just need to finalize it. Oh, we just need a signature. Over and over and over again. He's a pathetic, he's a terrible leader. He is no master negotiator. And he is just, again, he's just ruining all of America's credibility, especially with our closest allies. He then goes on to say that, well, Putin wasn't even the enemy when he got kicked out of the G8, was he?
It was a big mistake. Obama didn't want him, and the head of your country, the proud head of your country, didn't want him. This was a big mistake. You wouldn't have that war. You know, you have your enemy at the table. Even I don't even consider him. He wasn't really an enemy at that time. There was no concept. If I were president, this war would have never happened. But likewise, if he were a member of what was called the G8 at that time, it was always the G8, you wouldn't have a war right now.
What the hell is this guy talking about? This is what happens when you elect idiots as president. He has no understanding of history. He has no understanding of the relationship between Russia and Ukraine, because the reason Russia got kicked out of the G8 was because of their belligerence against Ukraine. They invaded Crimea. They invaded a sovereign territory, one of our allies. So you best be damn sure there are going to be consequences for those actions. When you've got a tyrant like Putin, like crossing the borders, trying to overtake sovereign territory, what did he expect was going to happen? And now Donald Trump is advocating that let's just add him back to the G8 or the G7 or whatever. I mean, he's not even an enemy, right? Wrong, dumbass. He is our enemy. He's an enemy to democratic nations. That is why he was kicked out in the first place. He's then asked whether or not China should be added to the G7 or the G8 summit.
Make a candidate
Why not
for
have China here, the
spending.
biggest economy in the world after the United States?
Well, it's not a bad idea. I don't mind that. If somebody wants to suggest China coming in, I think we suggest. But you want to have people that you can talk to. You know, they don't talk. Putin speaks to me. He doesn't speak to anybody else. He doesn't want to talk because he was very insulted when he got thrown out of the G8. As I would be, as you would be, as anybody would be. He was very insulted. And, I mean, he was thrown out by Trudeau, who convinced one or two people, along with Obama. He was thrown out, and he's not a happy person about it, I can tell you that. He basically doesn't even speak to the people that throw him out, and I agree with him.
Cry harder, Donnie boy. Oh, Putin, he only talks to me, guys, because I'm the only one who listens, and I really agree that he shouldn't have been thrown out of the G7 or the G8 in the first place, and he's really, really upset that he got thrown out, and so he only talks to me. This is how easy Donald Trump is to manipulate. Putin just throws him a few ego strokes, and Donald Trump's got his back. It's absolutely pathetic that this is the president of the United States trying to further align us with one of the dictatorial leaders of the world, one of the tyrants, one of the fascists. It is absolutely pathetic. America has spent decades establishing our place in the world, strengthening and building relationships all around the globe, doing USAID and soft power around the globe to make sure that the United States of America has a good reputation, that we can be relied upon, that our laws mean something. But Donald Trump is tearing that all away. How is it that nobody sees this in the MAGA movement? They take away USAID. You've got millions of people who are going to die, which means you have people in other developing countries that no longer view America in a positive light. You've got the United States president saying that, oh, we should be more charitable to Russia, even though they invaded one of our allies. Oh, let's go ahead and cut off intelligence sharing to Ukraine. Let's go ahead and shut off arms shipments to Ukraine, because we need to be a little bit nicer to fucking Russia. He is destroying what the United States is supposed to be. He is destroying our place in the world. And he seems like, it seems like a concerted effort to do so. Again, my conspiratorial brain in gear there, but it makes no sense. This is not a guy who is standing up for America. This isn't a guy who is looking out for the average American worker, the everyday American. This is a guy who's looking out for Donald Trump. This is a guy who is destroying relationships all around the world. He came into office and did those Liberation Day tariffs. He thought all these different countries were going to come on bended knee to make all these deals. And it's been fucking crickets. Donald Trump is not this master negotiator that he wants you to believe that he is. He is a pathetic man baby who's like throwing a fit in the sandbox and is wondering why nobody wants to come play with him. It is insane. This is the President of the United States, ladies and gentlemen. He's at the G7 summit, just making America look like the fools of the world. And MAGA just follows in lockstep. They'd be more happy to line up behind Putin rather than somebody like me, who they consider now the enemy. Remember, the liberals and the Democrats, we are the enemy from within. They have dehumanized us so blatantly that people in the MAGA movement are more psyched up about Putin in Russia rather than Democrats and Democratic policy. It is a disaster. It is un-American. He is one of the driving forces of political division in this country. And we are only 6 months in. You know, he started this, back in 2015 when he came onto the political scene. He's been waging a war on truth in this country. He's been waging a war on people on the left in this country. He's been waging a war on immigrants in this country. And now he is waging a war kind of on America itself by aligning us with Russia, abandoning our allies, blowing up our relationships. So again, I ask you, if an adversary were to become president of the United States, what steps would they be taking to try to destroy America? Because it sure as hell seems like Donald Trump is that adversary. So I'll leave it there for now, guys. Just a food for thought for you. If you guys got anything out of this video, please do remember to smash that like button and subscribe. Maybe share with a friend or two. I'd very much appreciate that. We are trying to build something here on the left that adequately pushes back against the right-wing media ecosystem that just launders all of this nonsense for Donald Trump day in and day out. So if you do like what I do here, please do remember to smash that subscribe button. Of course, that is free. And if you guys want to see how millions upon millions of people turned up to rebuke Donald Trump and his authoritarian takeover at the No Kings protest, go ahead and watch that video on the screen now. Otherwise, I'll see you guys on the next one.